Life of ultra-microscopic substance. The great blue sky, the water and the soil, all in the nature, are created by the gathering and the concentration of lives of the super-microscopic substances. They become the atmosphere, the ocean and the soil. They turn into the materials that have made plants, trees and all the nature. In the beginning a microorganism is born from nothing. The world for it is enriched and thickened by the gods. They are the gods of moon and sun. The celestial sphere is being further enriched and it has got the higher density with the nature and the elements of the two gods. The real world is filled with the wills of the two gods and becomes solid. The lives are kept quite long under the consideration of the gods of moon and sun. And finally the real world is filled up with the necessary amount of material source, namely the super-microscopic substance. The real world, the three-dimensional world, has become within the celestial sphere. Naturally, as the products created by the gods. The living things have life and a mission for their whole life that are filled with the super-microscopic substance. From the invisible and the unsubstantial world to the visible world, all the dimensional worlds are made. Only a life of the invisible spirit in the God spiritual world is conducted. The government is made. The opportunities considerably are given where it can act freely to get experiences. Namely, the God spiritual world has been made. The real world is started from nothing. It is initiated by the intention of the original gods. It is the general consensus of the whole dimensional universe that has created all in the real world. The whole universe works on the progress of the space family. All are created to realize the joyful and the happy world and live through all the system of the universe. In order to make the real world, the necessary things provided by the gods are all alive and live forever. They never die out. Man, the nature and all that consist of this real world are given life and a task. Their body construction is always concerned with the super-microscopic substance. It helps man's metabolism and progress. It lives as a cell in man's body. It performs the role of man's subsistence. The gods have created all the system of the universe and have reflected all of them to the earthly world. Man possesses the split of the God's spirit and body. Man can come and go between the universe and realize the concentration of the thoughts to this earthly world. Man belongs to the family of the universe and its body is constructed by the super-microscopic substance, which concerns with the cell formation, the development and all the organization of man's body. It enables man to absorb the nourishment of the atmosphere, the food on the ground and the immaterial substance like the mental desire, and make all of them the subjects of the metabolism. Man and all the nature are given the spirit as the living things that all have the missions. Man must develop one's own life force and build up the spiritual body respectively to express the truth of the living things. Man has acquired divine mechanism in one's body to form one's own spiritual and spectrum bodies with life force of the spirit and the spiritual body of the God spiritual world and one's own will and desire. The nature is made in this real world and besides for man. The wish of the spirit resides there. It has the spiritual body but not an emotion because it does not have haku. That is why the nature does not have the ability to create the additional spiritual body to color the existing ones. Man and the nature created in the beginning by the gods who have the metabolism and live. And they are mentally and physically guarded by the gods. The super-microscopic substance created in the beginning and still is being provided is the live material composes man's body and give a significant influence on all the living creatures. The air, the water, the soil and all the existing things are let live by billions of the super-microscopic substance. When one looks at the content of the super-microscopic substance, one will know it is the condensation of the will and the thought of the gods. The will and the thought express the nature of the gods that is bright and joyful and filled with the fairness that covers the whole grand universe. Man with the flesh body, the plants, the trees and the nature all are made of this microorganism without an exception. The original material produced by the will of the gods has a color and is the least microscopic substance that has life. Man that has the body made of this material carries a mirror oneself through which the heaven sees him/her wherever one is. The gods never abandon man that is the treasure of the creation. It is the gods' obsession. Man as well as its flesh body is the supreme masterpiece of the gods. It is always easy for the gods to see the heart and the soul of all the creations. The life of the super-microscopic substance supports all the living things and the materials for them to evolve and progress. Whatever it is, high or deep, it always penetrates into and reaches to the places where it is required. It constantly is fed by the heaven. Already on the ground, the considerable amount of it is accumulated. A tendency of a popular mind has come to change. It shows now a heart-warming phenomena. All the upper worlds than this real world have the roles and the tasks respectively, and are steadily working on their tasks for the progress and the development at the time of the transition of the heaven. The super-microscopic substance concerns with the various kinds of the organisms and stays in their bodies and enter into their cell and blood. There are two kinds of them. One that has completed the task and is on its way back to the process of the restoration, and another is the one newly created and being fed. All the organisms are maintained by the microorganism that has brought with the new task and the microorganism that helps it. All the compound of the solids and all the subjects of the metabolism circulate this materialized world. In it the mental development and the awakening are conducted. Man is the king of the creatures. Man has the vital regeneration mechanism and the vigorous atmosphere that require the super-microscopic substance. The super-microscopic substance is partaken from the air, the water, the soil and the foods in the Mother Nature. It demands man's spirit and will to activate vividly. Like a science table, it has the various and the necessary amount of the special elements in this world to comply with the request from all of the creations.